Welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast. Today, my guest, Lara Leisbeth. Thank you for joining me.
No worries. Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
And for those who don't know, may not know you, but don't know the connection, you're in the same business as Tash Columbus, who we spoke to not that long ago, I think a handful of episodes ago, and it was such a great chat. I wanted to reach out again and talk to some of the team. So you're one of those lovely people.
Yay. I feel really privileged actually to come and talk about where I work and the training that I'm doing, because I am a PT in training still. So
yeah.
Disclaimer there.
Excellent. Yeah, the perfect kind, because then you get to sort of, I guess, be molded by the business that you're in if it's a good fit.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably one of the key things, isn't it? Is that fit for the rest of Tasha's team with the business.
Oh, absolutely. I've always had fitness in my life. I've always run and I've always kind of dabbled in gym stuff, but I wouldn't be doing this training or working as a PT if it wasn't for Tash. Like it's actually a specific set of circumstances for me wanting to work with her co-papa, be on her walker with her, and also because I believe fundamentally in the power of empowerment of women. So for me, it's melding those two things. And I have another job as well. So that for me, this is time. So it's very specific circumstances.
Okay. And you're relatively new, like as you said, you're studying your quals, you're working and learning at the same time. And I guess, getting all that experience from being involved in the business as well. So lots going on for you, quite busy.
Yeah, amazing. But Tash just makes it so easy, we just have our fundamental mission and value that we share with her, which is the empowerment of women.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it comes down to through exercise and through movement and getting people in touch with themselves physically and mentally and emotionally too through that process.
Yeah. I'd love to. I just want to come and visit and just. I know obviously I'm a bloke, but at the same time, I can still appreciate the I guess the culture that you guys have created in that space. And I actually saw some of those before and after photos of the space that you guys work in when it was taken over, and it's pretty rundown space, and then it just slowly came to life with a lick of paint and some equipment and the green strip down the middle, and looks an amazing facility now.
Yeah, and that's actually an amazing symbol or metaphor of Tasha's mind, in the way that she has kind of birthed this thing, not out of nothing, because she obviously had the skills and she was already working, but to have vision to, see a warehouse like that, as she described, was a shithole. Take her family in there, because at that stage it was just her and, support from her family. So her son and her daughter and her amazing husband, Jamie, who is like as much a part of the business as she is, but a silent partner kind of way. Just totally, gutting that place, starting with the equipment that they had, and then just slowly building over those, 5 years, I think now. Obviously, had the birthday party.
Yes, cool, amazing. So, so you've done some interesting things. I did a little bit of research, and
oh, exciting.
Hey, don't worry, nothing anybody else couldn't find. So you've been a Postie. That was an interesting one. I've always had a sort of a sneaking desire to be a Postie, because I like adventuring, but also, you kind of get the win-win of by you're always moving and you're being paid to do it, sort of thing. What was your what was the reason for you doing it?
Well, I even before that, I actually have a theatre background, and so I left school and joined a theatre company. Not quite running away with the circus, but it sort of felt a little bit like that. And then after a year of sort of following a road of passion, I guess, I just at 19 went, well, you know what, I've never had a full-time job. I'd love to just earn some money, and I'm really into movement and staying fit, so this looks like a great mix. I was really lucky. My dad was a Postie, and he was like, oh, I'll get you in, just a bit of part-time work, and that just sort of turned into full-time work, and I ended up doing it for 5 years. Exactly for the reasons that you describe actually as being attractive. Like, I was cycling 16 Ks a day, 6 days a week, some downs, it's not there's, you know, advertising and all of that, but
mm.
finished like 12 or 1
Yeah.
every day. So you had your afternoons as well. And
Cool.
that's what really kept me there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have had much more in me after that, because it's
Okay.
you kind of peak, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
then it's really just enjoying the fact that you're using your body. It's not like too much of a mental challenge, but yeah,
Sure, sure.
it was a
Yeah.
great
Hey,
start to 19.
and it's not sunny every day, right?
It's not sunny every day, and I tell you
No.
what, I still wake up now at nights if it's raining and think, oh, I'm so glad I'm not.
You got to get out there in the rain and carry on doing the same old thing.
No, the first 2 hours is fine, and it's fine
Mm.
if it's just raining or it's just windy, but when you get the combo and you're over 2
Yeah,
hours, no
yeah,
good.
horrible. um, and you said at the beginning that you've always sort of been a runner, or I think in your bio it says jogger, but you're moving nevertheless. Where did that come from? Why has that been something you've always done?
I just think it's modeling from my parents. Well, actually not my
Yeah.
mum. She would say, what the hell are you doing, to my dad? But my dad's always been a runner. I
Right.
always swore I would never run. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're a freak. And, and then he was very righteous and happy to see that I sort of took it up at about 18, I guess, or 19,
Cool. Yeah.
just because it was easy and it's free. And, you know, like I said, he was doing it his whole life, and I could see the pleasure that he got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really just in the genes in that kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it, how those things rub off? You know, I sort of noticed the same thing growing up, as, you know, you see your parents doing stuff and you don't really take it in, you just see them doing it. But then you realize sort of 10, 20 years later, you're like, oh shit, I'm doing what they were doing. You know, it's it definitely rubs off subconsciously, and usually some of the good things, and, you know, not always, it's not always good things, but the good things kind of stick usually, don't they?
Yeah, and I think that even 25 years later, Dad is still like is tickled pink by that, you know. Oh, going for a run, are you? You know. So
he's
it's really
taking, he's chalking the credit up for it to himself, isn't it?
Yeah. There's brownie points for good parenting.
Yeah. And you've been in teaching as well, is that right?
I have, yeah. So I'm a trained secondary school teacher. Like I said, I've got theatre in my background, so one of my subjects was drama, but I'm ended up teaching English the whole time. So got a real passion for words and do a bit of writing as well. But as with some jobs similar, you know, there's great burnout in that sector, and that happened to me really after 7 years. 5 years at one school, and I couldn't do that slog anymore of what it encompassed. It was just students were the best part, but the paperwork and the bureaucracy and the, you know, all of that was just, I just felt like my path was leading somewhere else.
Yeah, fair enough. However, that combination, you know, you've got the drama stuff, you've got the teaching, you know, all of that is, you know, working with people, and you must have fine-tuned those skills, which would then be so useful and transferable to what you do now, working with clients, right? Because you get all shapes, sizes, attitudes, characteristics, personalities, and, you know, you've got to work with all of that difference, I suppose, to help people get the result that they're looking for. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that those you've nailed it. Basically, those two things are the things that I bring the most to PTing, and feel totally transferable. Like teaching as a transferable skill, you can take it anywhere, and it feels almost in alignment, really. It's the same sort of thing. So PTs out there, you're basically teachers.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, drama, I think aspects of performance, it sort of crosses over with teaching too, but something that I've really noticed is that I have a lot of clients now that are in that world that actually may in any other circumstance feel a little bit anxious about coming to a gym. And then and I don't know how it started. I think I just maybe had one client who was in theatre or was a comedian or something, and she kind of relaxed. She'd never been to a gym much before, and like after a few sessions, and we could talk about some theatre stuff as well, she was like, oh, gyms are not just for, you know, like jocks or whatever. This is actually a safe space for me too. And so it's really interesting how that has evolved to 3 or 4 or 5 people now who are in that sector. And I just friggin' love that, because to me, that's what it's about: accessibility and not being owned by what you might narrowly think is one type of person. You know, this is open. Fitness and movement is open to everybody.
Yeah, love it. And that's clearly been cultivated very, very carefully by Tash, and obviously the rest of you guys as part of her team. And it's phenomenal to see. And you know, it's got such a massive following. You guys are all doing something amazingly right. And as I said in my message to Tash the other day, you know, her episode has just gone gangbusters. Like the number of listens compared to, it's like one of those New York skylines. It's like bang, there's a massive tower, and then, you know, it's back to where it was. And you know, that's a reflection of the work that you guys are doing, because people are interested and want to hear, you know, what she's saying, and you know, there's a massive following because of that.
And I think that's down to her authenticity, because none of it, the business is secondary. It's important. Obviously, you want to run as a business and you want to be successful, but actually it's about the heart first. And the fact that we all have this belief in that kaupapa of really helping women. And, you know, that's just a wee example of like theatre people being able to feel like it's their space as well. Helping women to know that this is for them too. This is not just a particular type of person that goes to the gym. It's for everybody, and it's about being better in yourself. It's not about, you know, getting jacked up and your muscles being big and being able to, I don't know, whatever, run a marathon. Although obviously for some people that might be the goal, but it's actually for people who just want to not wake up in the morning and feel like shit too.
Yeah, very real people, normal people.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that Tash mentioned was that you're full busy, like as a trainer. You know, you've got a lot of clients, and that keeps you busy. And I know I'm talking to one of your colleagues later, and I think next week as well, who has got a very similar story. You know, she was working in another facility, not very, very busy, has started working with you guys, and has become crazy busy. What do you, I mean, I know we've kind of touched on some of this stuff, but what do you put that down to?
I think that is definitely the kaupapa again.
Yeah.
Authenticity, but also the word of mouth, you know, like definitely friends of people going, oh my God, you should try this gym. It's really not like another gym.
Right.
It's, you know, gym like you'd expect. Just give it a go to a class. They have PTs as well. You could just do a one-on-one if you feel safer in that environment. So I just think it builds like that as well, which is the coolest way, really. Because I'm personally not really into the hustle. And that's the reason that I mean, I'm full, but I'm like part-time. So I'm part-time.
Sure. I
have my other job as well. And for me, that's in an academic area at Otago Polytechnic.
Okay.
And it keeps my academic brain happy, as well as knowing that I don't have to really make sure that I'm getting the clients for PTing. I can totally put my passion into these women, but it's really about, oh my God, how am I going to feed the cat? You know?
Yeah. Okay, interesting. You talked at the beginning about a certain set of circumstances that kind of brought you together and to be working with Tash. Are you comfortable sharing some of that and going into that and sort of helping us understand? Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So I was going to join the gym just as a normal person, as a client. 2017, I had been running heaps and just like, plateaued there, wanting a little bit more. And like I said, I dabbled in gyms when I was in my 20s and that kind of thing. Then I had kids and things got busy. So I reached out again, word of mouth. So I knew someone who had gone to the gym, said it was amazing, and knew exactly what I wanted, which was a female space. You know, don't be a dick, being a mantra, which actually literally is Tasha. And you know, just a safe space for me to just be a normal person, basically, but you know, get stronger in ways that running wasn't giving me. So I reached out to her. Was going to join a what we call fit camp now, but was a boot camp back then, and they were 6 weeks long. Signed up, had paid my money and everything, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I had to pull out of that. Like she was, oh my God, definitely, you know, like we'll just when you really come back and we'll so she, you know, refunded and well, okay, well that obviously is not where my attention needs to be right now. I just need to survive this thing. and incidentally, running was a huge part of my getting through that period.
Yeah.
And then, so after a year of treatment, so I had 2 surgeries. I did 3 months of chemotherapy, so 6 different rounds, and I did 6 weeks of radiotherapy, and I'm on medication for 10 years as well.
Crikey.
Yeah, so after a year, I was like, right, running got me through this. That's cool. Right, I'm going to get back into part of my healing process, which was, really for me, fundamentally exercise saved my life. Like it got me through chemo. It has in the past before that diagnosis as well. And I just was even more convinced that this was something that should be accessible to everybody. So signed back up as a client. And I think, so that would have been probably the end of 2018. Signed up for boot camp after boot camp, turned into fit camps because it was renamed, and then was actually going overseas to live before COVID hit. So was like, oh my God, what am I going to do without a gym? Because I love the place as a client. And then of course COVID hit and we weren't going anywhere. So like, oh shit, here we are. Under lockdown. And Tash really shoulder tapped me and said, look, I just think that you have so much to offer and so much value that you could give women in this space. Have you ever thought about training as a PT? And I kind of went, that's interesting, because when I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, that was the year that I stopped teaching too. So burnout there. So I was really in a bit of a, not really a holding pattern, but just sort of thinking, well, what does my life hold next? Because you have this huge trauma. I had already left teaching and knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do. But it was really just like, I used to fantasize before being diagnosed of just like lying on a wooden floor in the sun, like a yoga studio or something.
Right.
I think it was more a sign of like being totally burnt out and not wanting to work, just like, I mean, lie in the sun. That's it. Yeah. But really interestingly, when I thought about what she had asked of me, I was like, it's kind of like a gym, this one day the sun was coming in the windows and there was the wooden floor, and I thought, how interesting, that thing that I was like thinking of to help me in that time that was so traumatic turned out to be Team Tash in this gym. So I was like, I reckon my teaching skills are transferable and I love exercise, so let's just blum and go for it.
Wow. It's so it was meant to be, wasn't it? That. Yeah,
it's interesting, that meant to be. Like, was cancer meant to be? Was this meant to be? It's really hard to get fatalistic when you've been through something personally, and in my own experience like that. But I really feel absolutely blessed and stoked to all buggery that like this has come up, and that Tash has given me an opportunity to really connect with women in the way that I guess I felt connected with, when I was going through that.
Yeah, she's got a keen eye and clearly a smart businesswoman to be able to, see the talent that you had and be able to see the possibilities, in the same way that building was not that I'm comparing you to the building. It's that vision, it's like going to an open home and going, oh no, we couldn't live here, and the other person going, well, actually, if we did this, it would be fine. And it's that vision, isn't it?
She is a sociometric star, so people are drawn to her. She is amazingly empathetic, so like actually has to be careful when she's around people. This is what I see anyway, like that she doesn't get too overwhelmed by that, like, but it's a total strength, not a weakness. And that just gives her a real vision for going in the right direction, I guess, because that's basically what we're describing,
Yeah, absolutely. And bringing people with her, which, is a sign of a good leader. It's not, it's anybody could kind of do stuff on their own, but it's then that ability to bring others with you and share the vision and have that buy-in from other people. And clients see that, right? The people that are working with you, they must see that. They must see that cohesion between you guys and how much of a strength that is as a team. Are you do you spend that part-time, those hours, are you very much one-on-one stuff, or do you do some of the group classes as well, or how does your time get spent?
So we have about, so there's three of us who are apprentices there at the moment doing this. Kristen, who I think you're speaking to, and Tash. And we each do about 12 hours of group fitness or gym work as part of our apprenticeship. So yeah, there's the group fitness that we're doing as a team, and there's usually two of us on at a time doing classes. And then for me, I work on a Monday and a Wednesday with PT clients after and around those classes. So there's like a 6 a.m. and a 6:45 class and a 9 a.m. class. And I have some clients before and in between and then after, which I've just come from now. Like I finish at 12 on a Wednesday, which is quite nice.
Excellent. Yeah. So that you tie it all into the time that you're there. So it makes it good, productive chunks for you.
And it also means, because I'm a little bit like a goldfish, it means that my brain can like just be in that one space. And then if I go to my other job on the other days, my brain can just be in that space too.
Right. So do you mind me asking what that other job entails and why that's important for?
Yes, you can ask, and no, I don't mind.
Fantastic.
So I'm academic course coordinator at the English Language Centre at Otago Polytechnic, which basically means that I use the teaching skills that I've taken out of secondary to support the teachers who are teaching in the tertiary space. And the kind of students that we have at the English Language Centre are mostly refugee background students. So we have a lot of Syrian students, a lot of Afghan students, and actually the refugee intakes have started up again post-COVID. So we've just got new families in Dunedin, which is exciting. We used to have quite an international base too, but obviously that's dried up, and it's mostly our New Zealanders who need English language support and help to be able to function in the community.
Right. Again, it's some good work. It's not just a job, is it? You're actually, you're helping people and their families, so integrate and get on with, New Zealand life. It's pretty good. Yeah.
And I'm like trying to figure out how I can get some of our women from refugee background into Team Tash.
I like it. Nice bit of crossover there. That's good.
That would be perfect, because in Muslim faith, which is what where most of them are religiously, a female gym would really be the only option. So watch the space.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got an entire class just ready to rumble there. Brilliant. So what does the future look like in terms of your qualification, and then being instead of it being part of the studies, being a role and a job? Will you keep the hours as they are, and that balance between the two things?
Yeah, I think it's really important for me because like I said, I don't really enjoy the hustle. So I'd rather have the financial pressure off myself. My dad, this comes really from my upbringing too. My dad was a basket maker, so he was a craftsman and self-employed in that kind of way. And it was just, he was amazing and incredible that for 35 years, that was his livelihood as a sole trader. But I saw growing up the kind of anxiety that comes with that when like you are reliant on people buying things or partaking of your product or your service or whatever. So I think I don't want that pressure on myself. And I've also since cancer really want to be careful about anxiety and that kind of stress, just to keep those levels really balanced. And the other thing is there's so much output with it, and I love that, but like with teaching, doing too much of it for me, I again would burn out. And so I think anything more than 2 days for me would mean I'm starting to get out of balance. And it also means that for those 2 days, and the women that are choosing to work with me, I can really give it my all. Which to me is kind of like the most important thing. I don't ever want it to be like factory, that feeling like when I was in teaching and it was like, oh, well, here comes the next class and here comes and I don't have time to go to the toilet and I haven't had more time. So I never want to get there again.
I hear you. I guess you've learned some good lessons along the way, which has helped you make some smarter choices going forwards from those things, which is important. It's that quality of life stuff, isn't it? That allows you to be the best version of you, whichever environment you're in. And if you're always chasing, you do start to lose that focus, and it's a diluted version of you eventually. So I really respect that choice and those decisions that you've made there.
That's just totally about me, you know. That's it's not judging, you know, how other PTs are doing it, or I totally respect people are full and able to do that is just so amazing, but I can't.
No, full respect. And that's that's I guess a good example of an empowered woman, where you you've made your decision and you know what's right for you and you are sticking to it, and that's good.
Hey, but the good thing about making decisions is you can always change your mind too. So only thing to be sure of is change. Who knows? Watch this space. I might end up being full-time PT.
You never know.
That, and now it's recorded.
Yeah. Don't worry. Just because it's recorded. It's good to have that flexibility as well, then, right? So you've got that growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. You know what's right for you, but that doesn't mean it can't change down the track. So
it's always in context, So it's the now that I'm in, and I still have my 12-year-old, nearly 13-year-old at home. So things might change when she's older, and there's a little less energy going into that kind of thing too.
Yep, of course. I mean, I know you're relatively new, but you're very wise, and you have lots of life experience. And this is the point where I say to people, what are your tips? What are the things that you could share with the listeners that might be useful, that things that you sort of learnt along the way? And I guess it doesn't have to just be PT stuff, but things that could help PTs in their businesses. Obviously, the stuff we've already covered, which people really should be picking the smarts out of, because there's some really good stuff that's happening in that business in Dunedin. But your version, Lara's version of those, what would you throw up?
Number one, be kind to yourself. Don't give yourself a hard time for not reaching whatever goals you have written down or aimed for, because sometimes life gets in the way, and that's okay. This is something I'm always talking to my clients about too. It's like, sometimes actually just turning up is enough. It's not always about oh God, I have to go to the gym and as PT or as a client, and I have to really nail that workout and it's going to be amazing. Actually, I just want to turn up today, and I just want you as my client to turn up today, and let's just friggin' give ourselves a break. These are hard times that we're living in, so be kind. That's number one. To yourself.
Love it.
What else? Find yourself someone you can look at, like I look at Tash. Yeah. Find yourself a mentor that you really respect, that you want to not want to be, but that you can see that you can learn stuff from. And that doesn't need to be in an employment kind of an area. It can be searching out any kind of mentor that can be of value in your life. That would be number two.
Yeah, good.
Number three, I would say just again, it's a very human thing. Just keep moving to keep your mind healthy, to keep your body healthy. Keep moving and stop drinking. There you go. That's my third tip.
I like it. And you literally mean moving as in physically moving, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean moving. I mean move your body. It's just so, we know it's connected to the mind. And for me, that's the key thing. It's like a healthy body, healthy mind. So keep moving, whatever that means. Drag yourself out for a walk, or I don't care what it is, just keep moving. Yeah.
Fantastic. I like those. And I like them because they're not that traditional. I mean, I like the mental ones, kind of one that does come up a bit. But the other two are very much more, like you say, I think human's probably a really good way of describing them. They can relate to anybody at any time. And you're right, the stuff that we're going through as a nation and as a world at the moment is extremely testing. And obviously kind has been one of those words that's been thrown around through government messaging, but if we bring it down to a personal level, it really is important that we do that, because then we can be kind to other people.
That's where it fundamentally starts. It's all very well to say be kind to others, but actually what I see a lot of, especially in women, is a real just not being able to be kind to ourselves. It's just like giving ourselves a really hard time for whatever reason. There's 100,000 reasons why, but actually let's just back off from that. Remember that it's okay, we're safe. We just need to take it step by step, start with ourselves. Treat yourself like your own best friend, basically.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
how would you talk to your best friend? All of this is stuff I know you've probably heard before, but
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, it seems to be what it always comes back to, and what I see in the clients too that I'm working with.
Yeah, yeah. It's a brilliant point to finish it on, I think. So,
Hey.
yeah, thank you so much, Lara, for your time. It's been really great chatting and getting to know you. And I'll let you know when this one goes out. It's probably the new year now. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, lovely to talk to you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Later.